In the previous lesson, we saw how to add, but what if you find yourself performing the same tasks over and over again, ones that involve multiple steps, menu items, or dialog settings? For these situations, it's time to leverage Photoshop's extensive actions capability. An action is simply a recording of a series of steps that can be played back with a single button click or even, you guessed it, a keyboard shortcut. Let's get started by bringing up the Actions panel. We'll go up to Window and choose Actions. Now what I'd like to do first is dock this right next to the History tab just to save some space, so I'll drag it right there. And I'd like to point out a couple of things here. You'll notice that Default Actions is at the top. That ships with Photoshop. And this folder, which is technically referred to as a set, contains the actions. Actions must live inside of sets. They cannot be floating around outside of these folders. So in your machine, you've got default actions. If you open that up, you can scroll down and see a number of built-in actions. I've got some folders here with custom actions that I've built. So obviously you won't see those on your machine, but we're going to create our own actions here in this lesson. So the very first thing we need to do is create a set or a folder. So let's go down here to this Add Set icon. We'll click on it and we'll name it TT Demo. And we'll hit OK. Now that we've got a set, we can start recording some actions. Now the easiest way to record an action is to have an image open on screen. So let's go to our Chapter 2 folder and let's select the file Action01. Now we've got our embedded profile mismatch dialog because of the way we configured our color settings in the first chapter, and we do want to use the embedded profile, so let's hit OK. Now we're going to create a few actions in this lesson, and we're going to start very simply. Let's say that when you edit images, you're typically creating a curves adjustment layer and a hue saturation adjustment layer. We're going to make an action that will automate that for you. So with our TT Demo set selected in the Actions panel, I'm going to click on the new action icon, and we're going to name this Adjustment Layers. And now we can press the record button. Now Photoshop is recording, waiting with bated breath to record our every move. So what we're going to do first is go to the Adjustment panel and let's select a Curves Adjustment layer. So we'll click here. We have a Curves 1 layer. Let's go back to the Adjustment panel and select a Hue Saturation layer. There we go. Now we've got a Curves layer and a Hue Saturation layer, and that's it. We're going to go here and press the Stop button. And now let's open up a second image in our Chapter 2 folder. We'll go to Action 02 and bring that up. Again, our embedded profile mismatch showing, and we can simply hit OK. Now with Action 2 selected, we can go in our TT Demo set. I'll close this up here. We can click on Adjustment Layers and simply click Play to run this action. And there we go. We've automatically got 2 adjustment layers ready for us to edit. Now let's click on History and go back here to the open state of this file, and let's go back to Actions. Because instead of having to select adjustment layers and then click the play button, for an action this simple, we should really define a keystroke for that. So with this action selected, we're going to go up to Action Options, and we're going to choose a function key here. Let's choose F5. And we'll add Shift as a modifier key to this by clicking on the checkbox. And let's add Command, that would be Control on Windows, for safety's sake. So we've got 2 modifier keys with the F5 key, and we'll simply hit OK. Now, on the keyboard, if we simply press Shift Command, that's on a Mac, on a Windows, it would be Shift Control F5, and there we go. Couldn't be simpler. Alright, but that's a pretty easy one. Let's start to add some more steps. Let's get rid of both of these images, and instead of closing these one by pressing Command W on the Mac or Control W on Windows, I can press Option Command W on the Mac, Alt Control W on Windows, and get rid of both of those files. Now here's a nice feature. we can hit Don't Save, and there is now in CS5 an Apply to All button. So we'll hit Don't Save, Apply to All, and everything is gone. Let's go back now to our Chapter 2 folder, and this time we're going to open up the file Screenshot01. In this situation, we've got an image with the incorrect color profile embedded in it, and we need to change the file size. We're going to build an action that will accomplish both of these things. So with this image open on screen, the very first thing we're going to do is create a new action. So we'll go to the, and we're just going to call this color space and resize. And we'll press record. Now we're going to go to the edit menu, and we're going to check assign profile. Now here the profile embedded is currently ProPhoto RGB, but these colors are way off, and that's because the file should have a profile of sRGB. So I'm going to click profile here. sRGB is already selected in the pull down menu. If it's not, simply click on it and you have all your color profile options. Notice how the color is much more believable now, and we'll simply press OK. Now what we'd like to do is resize this image. So we're going to go up to image size, and instead of having a width of 1916 pixels, let's suppose we want to have a width of 800 pixels. We can select that. That'll bring the file size down and make it smaller. But I want to point out something here. This is a horizontal image. What if these images are going to the web and we need our longest side to be 800 pixels, whether it's a horizontal or vertical image? There's a better way to do that. So we're going to cancel out of image size. And instead, notice that because we canceled out of that step has not been recorded. We're going to go to the File menu, Automate, and Fit Image. If you're prepping images for the web, Fit Image is going to be your new best friend. I'll bring it down a little bit. You can see we've got constrain within values here, one for the width and one for the height. And the beauty of this is, if I type in a value here, let's see, this is at 800, let's make this 600. If I type 600 for the width and the height, it's not going to create a square image. It's simply going to make sure that neither the width or the height exceeds 600 pixels. So we're going to hit OK. And that's it. We've recorded our 2 steps. We're going to press the stop button here. Now this was kind of a dummy image that we used. We don't need to save the change here, but let's make sure that our action works. So let's open up a second image back in Chapter 2. We'll open up Screenshot 2, and again we can see we've got very inaccurate colors here on this screenshot. So what we're going to do in the Actions panel, we're going to click on the name of our action. Make sure you're not clicking on an individual step, but we're all the way out at the name of our action, and we're simply going to click the play button. There we go. I'll increase this a little bit so you can see it. We have assigned the sRGB color space, and we have resized that image. Let's verify that. If we go up to image size, we can see that it is indeed 600 pixels on the long side. So there we have 2 relatively simple examples. Now we'll go into a bit more complicated use of actions. We'll close both of these images again with our shortcut of Option Command W on the Mac, Alt Control W on Windows. Close these. We're going to click Apply to All, and